Hola, probando, probando, uno, dos, probando. ¿Me escuchan, muchachos?
Sí,
Hola.
mister.
Ok, perfecto. Permítame, vamos a arreglar esto. Configurando aquí. Excelente. Yo creo que a esta distancia lo leen bien, ¿verdad, mujeres? All right. Today we're going to learn, actually, is headset and speaker headset. Right. Okay. Today we're going to learn how to graphing quadratic equations. Okay. And by I know we can create a table of values and we can sketch the graph. But we're going to learn how to analyze the quadratic equations using or determined by the given conditions. The first one, we have to write the equation in standard form. And this equation of the quadratic equation is written in a general form. The standard form of any quadratic equations is given by the following formula. F dx equals a parentheses x minus h at the second power positive negative k, because it could be positive negative k. In this situation, the letter A represents the amplitude, I mean the width of the graph, and the letters H and K represents the value of the vertex, the parabola. Okay, so the problem says we have to write this equation in standard form. We have to looking for the x and y intercepts. We have to find out what will be the symmetric axis. I mean the half of the parabola. Determine the interval where the graph increases or decreases, and finally sketch the graph. Okay, so what we're going to do? We're going to solve the by step. The step number one, we have to write this equation into the standard form. How we can do that? Simple. We're going to apply the completing square technique. Remember the formula for completing a square technique. I'm going to write over here. Is given by, remember, f dx equals x minus b over 2 second power minus b over 2 second power positive negative c. This is the formula from the completing square. This is what we have to do. Remember, every time they want to apply the completing square technique, make sure the leader coefficient, I mean the number who is next to x squared, that's supposed to be 1. And because if this is the case, well, we can proceed. So we got f dx equals x plus, because that's positive sign, 4 divided by 2, that will be 2, close parentheses, elevated at the second power, subtracting 2 at the second power, plus 3. In simple merely words, f dx is given by x plus 2, second power, minus 1. How do I know this is going to be negative 1? Simple, because 2 at the second power is 4. Negative outside, that will be negative 4. And negative 4 plus 3, negative 1. And as soon as you can see, we got the standard form of the equation. Okay, this is going to be the step one. In the step number 2, we have to looking for the x and y intercepts. Remember the x and y intercepts. For example, the y-intercept is simple to find out because if you really want to know the intercepts in this situation, the only thing that we have to do, for example, we got the function f dx equals x squared plus 4x plus 3. If you really want to know what will be the y-intercepts, that will be what is the value from y when x equals 0. I mean, we have to evaluate the entire function by 0, and as soon as you can see, the result will be 3. All right. When x equals 0, y will be 3. Now, the x-intercept, what will be the value from x when y equals 0? So in simple matter words, we're going to create the same equation, x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, to solve this quadratic equation, we had three methods, three ways. The first one, try and error technique, or we can use the completing square technique. I mean, equal this equation, in the purple one equals 0, and we can solve for x. Or the third way will be the quadratic equation. Because we haven't seen how to apply the quadratic equation, I'm going to show you how we can use the quadratic equation to solving this problem, okay? Remember, the quadratic formula or the quadratic equation is given by, or general formula, sorry, is given by the equation x equals negative b, positive negative, square root b squared minus 4 times ac divided by twice the letter a. Okay, this is going to be the quadratic formula or general formula. This is the third way how we can solve this quadratic equation. What we're going to do, the only thing that we have to do is replace the letters A, B, and C in the equation without using the variables. What's going to be 8? Remember the number 8 is the number who is next to x squared. B is going to be 4, and C will be positive 3. So the only thing that we have to do is replace. For example, negative B. Well, positive 4 times negative will be negative, right? Positive negative square root, B is 4, second power, minus 4 times the letter A is the number 1 imaginary number. Okay, who is going to be the letter C? Positive 3, okay? And the entire equation divided by twice the number 1. Okay, understood? Understood?
Yes, mister.
Only replace the values, okay, in the formula. Okay, now let's going to proceed, continue. X equals negative 4, positive negative, square root 4 second power, 16, minus 4 times 1 times 3 will be 12, divided by 2, because 2 times 1 will be 2. Okay, continue, continue. 16 minus 12 will be 4, right? X equals negative 4, positive negative, square root 4, divided by 2. And what is the square root of the number 4? That will be 2, right? Perfect. So x equals negative 4, positive negative 2, divided by 2. And remember, we have two solutions. One of them will be the positive, and another one will be the negative. I mean, x equals negative 4 plus 2 divided by 2. And the other hand, we got negative 4, negative 2 divided by 2. Okay? For that reason, the answer will be negative 4 plus 2, negative 2 divided by 2 will be negative 1. Negative 1. By the other hand, negative 4, negative 2 is negative 6. Divided by 2 will be negative 3. Okay? So the another solution will be x equals negative 3. And we got the x and y intercepts. You can, if you wish, you can write the answer, just putting down x and y intercept, just like, for example, 0, 3, and you can use negative 3, 0, and also negative 1, 0. This is going to be the x and y intercepts. Okay, That will be the step number 2. Before to continue solving the problem, do you have any doubts or questions? Ah, what negative for? Ah, because the formula says negative b. And because b is positive 4, positive times negative gave us negative. Just to explain you already. This quadratic equation, we have 3 ways to solve it. Remember, try and error technique. We can use this completed square equation or the quadratic formula. We are using the quadratic formula just for give an explanation and the third way how we can solve this quadratic equation. It's easier to apply, but the only inconvenience, if we can say, this situation takes a little bit some time. Okay, but the rest of the problem there is no inconvenience. All right. Now the step number 3, they're asking for find the symmetric axis. Okay, the symmetric axis, my dear students, is the step number 3. I'm going to use this orange column. It's given, it's given by the following formula. X equals negative b over twice the letter A. Okay, this is going to be the symmetric axis. What will be the letter B? Obviously, will be positive 4. So we got negative 4 over twice the number 1. Why number 1? Because 8 represents the number 1. For that reason, the symmetric axis is given by x equals negative 2. Okay. Now the step D and the step E, actually the letter D to determine the intervals where the graph increases or decreases. Before to do that, we have to sketch the graph, and after we sketch the graph, we can determine where's gonna be the intervals increasing or decreasing the equation. Now, but before to do that, we have to determine what will be the vertex. Okay, how we can calculate the vertex? My dear students, the vertex in this quadratic equation, it's simple to calculate. Vertex yeah, are the values h and k. What does that mean? Can you see these couple of numbers? The first one inside the letter x and the another one outside the letter x. Okay, those numbers will be the vertex coordinate. What will be the difference between them? Always the x coordinate of the vertex, because we're using the symmetric axis, always we're going to write the opposite sign of the original number who is adding or subtracting the letter x. In this case, because we have positive 2, I'm going to write in the vertex negative 2. If the original sign were negative, in the vertex will be positive, okay, the opposite. And the letter K is the vertical displacement. If the graph is going to move upward or downward, in that situation, I'm going to copy the same number with the same side, the outside number, okay? In this case will be negative 1, all right? And how do I know if you're doing well or bad the vertex? Simple, because if you compare the symmetric axis with the x coordinate of the vertex, that will be the same number with the same sign, and you're going to see, yeah, perfect, we are doing well. Understood until this part? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In the letter X, that's supposed to be the same, right? And if you evaluate, in another way to compare, you must evaluate just another way to check your answer. Evaluate the original equation by negative 2, okay? And the answer, that's supposed to be the value from K. If you evaluate this one, for example, negative 2 plus 2, 0. 0 second power, 0. 0 minus 1, negative 1. In that case. Okay, at home, do you have any questions? ¿Está todo claro hasta ahorita? All right, now we're going to sketch the graph. Yo creo que aquí podemos graficar. All right, let's go to graph the equation, the parabola. Ta, 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 ta. Tu, 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 tu. Remember, if you don't understand, let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. With 5 units will be more than enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, this is y, negative y, x, and negative x. Okay, and we got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. Okay, what do we have to do? Well, the first thing, Luis. Mm-hmm. Is the formula for the standard form of the equation of the parabola. And you can match in this one with that one. In this case, the letter A, that will be 1. That's why. Okay, the first thing that we have to graph always in the parabola is the center of the parabola. And what is the name of the center of the parabola? Will be the vertex. Always, always, always graph the vertex like at the first step. And the vertex is the coordinate negative 2 with negative 1. So negative 2 with negative 1. This is going to be the vertex. After that, we can write the x and y intercepts. For example, the x-intercept we got negative 3 with 0, negative 1 with 0, and also 0 with 3. All right, as soon as you can see, we have two vertex to the right side of the parabola, and we have only one vertex in the left side of the parabola. Just for matching 2 on 2, we're going to use the symmetric axis. The symmetric axis means negative 2. That means because we have a negative answer, that means the parabola is going to move at the x-axis, I mean the letter x, 2 units from the left side. How do I know left side? Because we have a negative value, okay? So if we have the point negative 2 at the vertex over here, if I move 2 points to the left side, that will be on negative 4, okay? Yes or no? Original vertex is negative 2. And the symmetric axis says negative 2, that means I'm going to move the graph horizontally 2 units from the left side. So 1, 2. And it's falling down in the negative 4, x coordinate. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to evaluate this negative 4 in the black one equation or the purple one. It doesn't matter. At the end, the result will be the same. If I evaluate in this equation, we got negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Second power will be 4. Minus 1 will be 3. Oh, so the interception point will be negative 4 with 3. This orange point represents the symmetric axis. It's used for matching the parabola into two similar halves. Okay? Okay. Again, the vertex is given by negative 2 with -1, okay? If I really want to looking for what will be the coordinate of the axis, what I have to do? This -2 answer, that means because I have a negative answer, that means I'm going to move the graph 2 units from the left because it's negative. And if you add -2, -2 will be -4. So I'm going to copy -4 the coordinate from the axis. And if I really want to know what will be the y-axis, the only thing that I have to do is evaluate in the black one equation or the purple one equation. And at the end, if you evaluate this value, -4 plus 2 is -2. Second power will be 4. 4 minus 1 gave us 3. So the coordinate of the axis will be -4 with 3. And we got the 2 points over here, 2 points over here, and we can perfectly uh, complete the parabola graph. Okay, so guys, did you understand what this for? Did you understand, Julio? All right. Anyone at home, did you understand this step? Yes or no? Please confirm. ¿Entendieron hasta ahorita? El silencio de los inocentes. ¿Seguros entendieron? Okay, I'm going to presume yes, you understand. All right, and finally, because we have the step E, let's get the graph. Now we're going to determine in what intervals the graph decreases and increases, okay? So in the y-axis, it's useful to identify where the graph increase or decrease. How do I know where it decreases? Because it's going down the graph, okay? And where it's going to increase when it's upward, climbing up the situation. But at the moment, I'm going to determine the intervals. I'm going to use the, I don't know, this black marker, okay? The intervals who's decreasing and increasing, I'm going to use the, this is going to be step number 4. The values from X, no the values from Y. The values from Y is easy to identify where the graph is going to falling down, decreases. But I'm going to use the value from X. In which value from the letter X, the graph will falling down, I mean decreases. So if you see, we are using the negative values from X until -2, the left side on this parabola will decrease, right? Right? For that reason, the first interval decreases. We're going to say, the graph decreases since -infinite and until -2. All right. This is going to be the interval when the graph decreases. And in which interval the graph increases. Increases, that means it's starting from climbing. All right. What is the minimum value when the graph is starting to climbing in the letter X? Are you sure? -2, because it's the vertex, right? You started from climbing, -2 until what? Until infinite. Remember, we're going to determine that intervals don't focus in the y-axis values, focus in the x-axis. O sea, lo diría en español, cuando usted vaya a determinar esos intervalos de crecimiento y crecimiento, fíjense en Y para ver dónde baja y sube la gráfica. Pero al momento que usted me va a decir los intervalos, no se ponen los valores de Y, sino que se ponen los valores de X, solo los de X. Por eso aquí digo que decrece de menos infinito. La gráfica es cierto, va así para abajo, ¿no? Pero cuando digo menos infinito, no estoy hablando de la Y, estoy hablando de la X. hasta el punto más bajo de la X, que fue -2, mitad izquierda. La mitad derecha, ¿dónde va a crecer la gráfica? De aquí para allá, ¿cierto? Pero yo ya no me enfoco en la Y. La Y solo me dice para ver dónde sube la gráfica. Entonces me tengo que enfocar en los valores de X, que a medida que yo le ponga positivos, negativo 2, negativo 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, esa gráfica va a ir disparado para arriba hasta el infinito. ¿Entendieron, mis estimados aprendices, cómo sacar los intervalos de crecimiento y decrecimiento? ¿Mm? Desde el vertex, ¿sí? Es que el vertex en simple medida es el centro de la parábola. Y el eje de simetría se refiere a esto, a una recta vertical. Esto no es necesario graficarla, pero esto se refiere que divide la parábola en dos mitades. A esto se refiere el eje de simetría. Una mitad y la otra mitad. ¿Estamos? Ok. Ya vamos a hacer otro. Ok, en casa. ¿Estamos claros, sí o no? Vuelvo a hacer la pregunta. Por segunda ocasión, ¿estamos claros, sí o no? Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to continue solving this problem. That was only the first one. Bueno, entonces mire, prácticamente solo quedan 2 minutos. No hay mucho tiempo, como dice, para hacer todo. Mañana vamos a continuar resolviendo más ejercicios con las mismas instrucciones. ¿Ok? Solo que ya mañana les voy a enseñar cómo identificar un punto máximo y un punto mínimo. Y se lo voy a decir desde ahorita. Cuando la gráfica, al dibujarla, los cachos quedan para arriba, así como esta, se trata que el vértice es un punto mínimo. O sea, porque viene de la parte más bajo y las puntas van para arriba. Pero si la gráfica queda al revés, que los cachos en vez de ir para arriba van hacia abajo, como una U invertida, entonces se trata de un punto máximo. O sea que sería un vértice máximo. Mañana vamos a hacer eso. Bueno, muchachos, si no hay preguntas, gracias por su atención y los veo mañana si así lo permite. Cuídense. Bye bye. So long. Take care of yourself.
Mister, I have a question.
Ajá.
Para lo de las actividades de diciembre, ¿qué vamos a hacer, Mister?
Bueno, eso era lo que les estaba diciendo ayer. Miren, hoy les voy a mandar un link para que me envíen vídeos. O sea, pueden hacer un videito, no sé, haciendo un poema, pueden hacer algún acróstico, puede usted, ¿cómo se llama? Decir algo, algún poema, algo alusivo a la Navidad. No necesariamente tiene que durar 5 minutos, con 1 o 2 minutitos. Algo parecido como con lo que nosotros hicimos en las fiestas patrias, pues que hicimos varios vídeos individuales y al final se juntaron y se presentaron. ¿Me explico?
En español, mister.
Obviamente en inglés, mija, en inglés, inglés. Usted sabe, Merry Christmas. Después, yo no les estoy pidiendo que tienen que durar 5 o 10 minutos, no, 1 minutito, tampoco 5 segundos, ¿verdad? Tampoco no nos pasemos, pero 1 minutito, 2 minutitos diciendo algo, alguna frase, alguna alusión, algún acróstico. Que usted use su creatividad, si usted quiere poner algún color alusivo en la Navidad, si quiere poner el gorro de San Nicolás, o quiere vestir de Grinch, no sé, use su creatividad. El día de hoy les voy a mandar un link para que ustedes en el transcurso de los días me puedan mandar los videos, ¿verdad? Yo me encargaría de editarlos, por eso no se preocupe, pero sí les voy a pedir que cuando me mande el video, lo mande con su nombre. Por ejemplo, Pedro Pérez, vaya, ya me lo mandó. En este caso, Jared López, Lorna Vázquez, Adrián Rodríguez, María Peña y así sucesivamente. No sé si está claro. Hello.
Yes, Mister.
All right. Bueno, muchachos, gracias por su atención. Los veo mañana si así lo permite. Cuídense. Bye.